played in the last game in Orlando. 3 key passes for her in just a handful of minutes. So can they get her on the ball? And then if you're one of those front 3 in front of her, you are making runs because she's going to be able to find you.
Nair. Maitane. Manaka. Johnson. Macaro. Bigelski. There's Johnson again off her left foot. Over the crossbar.
This is why I was impressed with her. She just bets on herself, which you want to see from a young player. It's a good build-up by Chicago, switching it from left to right, and then you can find Johnson in this little half space. Good first touch to set herself up on her left foot. Too much underneath it there. That's the kind of life that Chicago needs late in this game when they're chasing.
Joseph.
So long as it stays in a good range here.
Maitane.
There it goes.
Curran to Malum. Wide. Slipping there. Patterson. Cross. No. Curran. And it's a foul against Chicago. Graham goes down. That seems like a promising possession or sequence for the Stars.
Well, they've had better energy since the substitutes just a couple of minutes ago, and that's what they needed. Sometimes when you're chasing the game, you end up doing that, just reaching out and fouling.
Garris out. Michelle Alozia in. Houston with another change.
I would want if I was an outside back, seeing Michelle Alozia come off the bench for the last 12 minutes of the game when you're tired. Ooh, Jane Campbell slipped that time too. It's a little slick out there.
It's been drizzling on and off SeatGeek Stadium. Sheehan. Graham. Sheehan. Up for Ryan. Nice passes for Houston. Sheehan. Julian. Just on this right side. Working quickly. Given to Curran.
But the onus is on Chicago there. You got to go defend, right? So what Houston is seeing, if you start to compress a little bit more, where is the option that's going to be open, and can they stretch those seams slightly to find that final pass?
Patterson. All return to her. Colaprico. Ryan. Nielsen. 10 minutes to go in the second half. Dashin' Stars. Jamise Joseph scored first. Chicago took the lead. It's been 2 unanswered now for Houston with Nielsen and Graham.
I think Graham had switched the field.
Ryan. A bit of a tough half for Chicago. Julian. Patterson. Graham. Slots to Colaprico. Sheehan. Ryan races to it. Whips it across. Alozia was there. Sheehan. Trying to try to keep it with Houston. Jacobs, still in bounds.
Tough half for Chicago, but I would say both teams started out pretty blasé. It wasn't until the substitutes came on in the 63rd minute that this game had any life to it in this second 45. And now Chicago is chasing, and they can't get the ball back from Houston. When they do, they're a little sloppy with it in their attacking third. Again, I think they have to find, in those types of situations, can you have one pass and then find where Manaka is? Because she's in good spots, and you can see Lauren Donaldson talking to her right now. They need to get her on the ball.
Yeah, Manaka, captain of the Japanese U20 team that was runners-up in last year's World Cup at the U20 level. Mentioned her time at Santa Clara. Just a small but big impact. One of the only bright spots in the Orlando game. But we don't have a huge sample size of what she can do. And in general, Chicago made some signings this offseason as Sheehan just gives that one away to Anderson. But for the Stars, those signings were rookies. Besides Maitane, it's the only player that they added with NWSL experience.
I was shocked in the offseason that the Stars didn't do more with the time that they had. Yes, they made the playoffs, but it wasn't convincing enough that they were going to be really competing in what the NWSL is now. It feels like we've hit NWSL 2.0 in a way, more, right? There is a different standard in this league. We saw it from week one, and even yesterday with Kansas City beating Washington. Kansas City and Orlando said, hey, here's the standard, come chase us now. And if you only make rookie moves and don't bring any big-time signings in the offseason, I think you're going to fall behind. I really do, in the way that NWSL is going in this last year and a half.
Yeah, I remember an earlier season conversation with Laura Harvey. She said, last year we learned what true pace and power was in the NWSL. Ryan, head on a swivel, slams that into Anderson. And a corner for the dash. Just trying to ride this one out, maybe get another goal, some cushion.
I think they need to get another goal. Yes. Chicago hasn't threatened that much. Yes, be aware of the transition moments. But if you're Houston, you're trying to put a stamp on who you're going to be this year, and I think one more goal would solidify that you're not messing around this year.
Ryan Nair punches it away. Some time for Colaprico, but she overshoots.
She thought about going full volley, though, which is so difficult as that ball pops out to her. Because Nair makes the save here and just punches it into the air, and she's like, should I do it? Nah. But you can see the ball is still almost rising when she hits it. It's always gonna go up then after the strike. It's hard to be patient on those half volleys, to let it fall far enough to get it on frame.
Ryan creating some separation. Now she spins. Alozia. Graham. This can be the problem with the style that Chicago plays, because when you're down, you don't have possession.
And you get to chasing the ball like this, so then you get sucked back into your own half when you want to keep some forwards higher so they can be an outlet.
Bigelski. Looks like Sheehan had to get her cleat back on.
A little bit of flat tire there, it looks like. Flat tire? You lose your shoe?
Oh.
Stepped on in the back? No? Just pretend that didn't happen. Whatever I just said.
Well, that sounds like something someone would know that played professional soccer, and someone that wouldn't know. Probably more of my bad. Sheehan charging. Everything else, he sticks a leg out. Recaro. Still time for Chicago to at least walk away with a point at home.
Yeah, but they're not going to do it if they don't win the first and second balls. That has to be your bread and butter. If you're the Stars. I stopped. Because that is how you can control the controllables. Right now they're chasing shadows.
Graham. Product of Duke. Ryan. Over the head of Ryan. Nair. Punts to the midfield and a foul. Curran goes down.
Late whistles here.
I say that's got to be a foul. Colaprico's been a good at it, even just in this second half, how she can help set the pace of when they switch the point of attack. She wins second balls centrally. Such a solid midfielder.
Ryan nearly falls, but still has possession. Dullion didn't have numbers there for Houston.
And just back to Colaprico, I think this Houston system and how Fabrice Gautra wants to play is going to suit her style of play much better. They want to have the ball. They want to create rotations and overloads, sometimes centrally, sometimes in the channel, and the amount of ground Dani Colaprico can cover is elite in this league. So they bring her in the offseason. This is a player who's won a shield with San Diego just a couple of years ago, and she can help set the tone for not just who they are on the field, but also who this team's going to be off the field. I think that's interesting too. It's kind of a reset, a refresh for the Dash.
Yeah, lots of question marks for both of these teams, and there's still time in 2025 to figure things out. But this league is relentless. You can't flounder too much. Jacobs. Alozia. Graham.
And if you're Johnson, you gotta go there. You gotta high press. Go with these two that are going.
Well, Chicago playing desperate now. In a stoppage time in the second half. 4 minutes. Alozia. Another slip. It's time for Franklin. Alozia. Corrals. Sheehan. Ryan. Back to Alozia.
Ryan was offside. It's the right run, and this is why you bring two players in that come from the same team, is because when Sheehan picks that ball up, really because of the way Chicago was pressing her, the only space was down the line. So where did Ryan run? Down the line, in the channel, trying to be an option.
Oh, Franklin and Sheehan were going at it. About 3 minutes left for Chicago. Can they rally? Played long from Anderson. Manaka. Patterson does well. Joseph. Malum. Joseph off a right foot shoots. Campbell bobbles, but ultimately has it.
But that's really clever from Joseph. Late in the game, you know you have to be the game winner here. And look at, she's just patient, takes the touch around the defender to create a little gap for herself, and then doesn't hit it as well as she would have liked. The ball's actually just too close to her plant foot, so when she goes to strike, she ends up pulling it near post.
Maitane. Johnson. Recaro. Begelski up into the 18. Off the head of Nielsen. It's a corner.
This is interesting. This is interesting for Chicago. This last couple of minutes, putting Houston under pressure here, and this is their chance. I would send everybody into the box here.
Crowd getting loud.
Come on, there's gonna score. Watch.
The Stars can feel it. Off the corner. Anderson was the option, but instead, it's booted all the way back to Nair in the midfield. Maitane.
Control. There you go.
Now the Spanish international. It's not on the same page with Manaka.
But she will be a good pickup as she gets more and more fit. Because of that, she's just savvy, calm, cool, collected centrally. Chicago, yes, they're going to be able to hit you in transition, but they have to also play through their midfield.
Ryan keeps on going, taking on 3 defenders. Ryan, too high.
Yeah, it got deflected. I think that's going to be a corner kick here, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Great ball in here because Chicago was pressing. So where is the space? In behind, it's Colaprico who threads it in, and then Yasmin Ryan says, beep, beep, I'm going to go right by you. Cuts across the last defender, and it gets deflected. Hannah Anderson does a good job here to get something on it. Push it up and over.
Doyon. Sheehan, the short option. That's where she goes. They're going to kill some clock here, Houston. And there's a final whistle. The Dash walk away with a 1-goal victory over the Chicago Stars. And it's a first 3 points for Houston in 2025.
A good 3 points for Fabrice Gautra, his first in NWSL. And for Houston, the subs made the difference because it was a pretty even game up until that 63rd minute. And then from there on out, really showed some class, not just through Graham, but Ryan, Sheehan, showed that this Houston team is going to have a lot of options and depth when it comes to how they can get at you in attack.
Yeah, it's the rookie, Maggie Graham, the hero in the second half. We'll speak to her after the break and wrap this one up from SeatGeek Stadium. A Houston Dash win over the Chicago Stars. I'll be back after this.
What are you doing? No claws.
The NWSL is the most competitive league in the world.
You're watching Avengers Assemble.
I channel my inner Dennis Rodman on the field.
Oh man, the league has grown and it's awesome to see.
NWSL is changing. Almost an entire generation is leaving just as the game is beginning to soar.
I'll leave everything on the field, but I want this title.
Okay, then.
Paying for your kids' college can feel overwhelming. That's why College Av's private student loans are designed with flexibility to fit your budget and keep life simple. With competitive rates and an instant credit decision, there's a reason our loan experience is highly rated. We've education to graduation and beyond. Get started with helpful tools and resources that allow the whole family to stress less on the road to success with College Ave.
With a focus on seeking the best investment opportunities across global markets, Palmer Square now has more than $34 billion in assets. Now, Palmer Square's expertise is available to a broader range of investors with the launch of 2 publicly traded ETFs and a publicly traded BDC. With options available on the New York Stock Exchange, investors can access Palmer Square's opportunistic strategies, as well as the firm's long track record of investment management. To learn more about investment options, visit palmersquarecap.com.
Son, what do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to live the good life.
So what do you want to do when you grow up?
You'll know what the good life is when you live it. Kia, movement that inspires.
Watch this. Watch us move. Watch us fly. Watch us break. Watch us burn. Watch us rise. Watch us rule. Just you watch.
We live for the NWSL on ESPN. Facts for the trend spins and the silk shrugs. For Double B, the MVP, and the GOAT. For fandom so fierce you can feel it. Because they're than a league, it's a lifestyle. And we are here for it, all of it, all the time. If you are too, you know where to find us. Gotham FC, Pride, tonight 5 p.m. on ESPN2.
We return to SeatGeek Stadium, where the visitors, the Houston Dash, pull off a 2-1 victory over the Chicago Stars. The Dash, the first 3 points of the year. Hello, everyone. Ready to wrap up this afternoon game with Jordan Angeli, Maura Sheridan. Jordan, you said this is a must-win game, and for Houston, they walk away with 3. What'd you think?
I was pretty impressed with them, not just because they came from behind and got the victory away from home, but the style of play. They're showing that this team has a lot of depth, and they can beat you in various ways, not just through possession, but also in quick transition moments.
Well, they have some depth and a super sub in rookie Maggie Graham. We are joined by Maggie here. Maggie, you've scored in 2 straight games. In this second game, you walk in and you score a minute later. What did you see on that goal?
Honestly, I just knew that Delaney's so crafty on the ball that she was going to get a cross off, and we had talked about cutbacks all week in practice, so I knew if I was there, she'd get it to me, and then I just had to make contact. So got lucky, first touch of the game.
Nah, that's not luck, Maggie. That's just good footballing there. The 3 subs that came in a minute before you, all 3 were connected on that goal. What'd you guys say to each other before you went on the field?
I mean, we kind of just touched each other and was like, let's make something happen. Like, we want to win this game no matter what, so we just did what we could to make that happen.
And for you, you come into this Houston team, it feels like it's a new era for Houston. Why should the league be on watch for what the Dash are going to do this year?
I think a lot of reasons, but the main one is just we have so much talent. Everyone on this team is so good, and I think we're really learning how to play with each other. And as the season goes on, like, I think we're going to dominate teams, and people need to look out for us and not think of us as an underdog, but think of us as a championship team.
Thanks, Maggie.
Of course, thank you.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights from this one. Chicago and Houston matching up for the first time this year.
And it was a really lively start from Chicago. They high pressed, but also they were able to use their number 1 weapon, which is the spacing behind a back line. Here, Joseph picks the ball up and Nielsen places it, and the Stars are on top early in the game. But it was going to be a long time if they were going to hold that lead throughout the rest of the 90 minutes.
Oh, Jamise Joseph, good work there. Houston retaliates just a couple minutes later.
You have to be able to score in a myriad of ways here in NWSL. Set pieces are key. And it's the flick from Schmidt. It's the finish by Nielsen. She said, I needed to get that because I gave up the goal before. And then in the second half, the subs were made in the 63rd minute. 64th minute, what is it? 1 sub, Julian plays the other sub, Sheehan, and then she finds the third sub, Maggie Graham, her second goal in 2 games, and this time it's a game winner. Once those subs came in, Maura, they really changed the trajectory of the game. Not just with the goal, but how dominant Houston was through the rest of the game. And watch out, this Dash team has a lot of firepower.
And it's a big road victory for Fabrice Cotrat and his side. Well, next weekend, it's a rematch of last season's quarterfinal as Ashley Hatch and the Washington Spirit host Bay FC on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Prime. Saturday, Barbara Bandit and the Orlando Pride take on Kaylin Sheridan and the San Diego Wave at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. And then it's an Ion doubleheader getting started from Kansas City as Lo Labonta and the Current take on Ali Sentnor and the Utah Royals, followed by Sam Coffey and the Portland Thorns hosting Jaden Shaw and the North Carolina Courage. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Ion. To watch more games and follow your favorite team, check out the schedule on NWSLsoccer.com. Well, a 2-1 victory for Houston over Chicago, and a hard-fought game for both of these sides to wrap up this Sunday afternoon at SeatGeek Stadium. That's going to do it for our entire crew. From Jordan Angeli, I'm Maura Sheridan saying so long. Have a fantastic night, everyone. Now you can flip on ESPN.
Whether you've set personal goals or are just making your health and well-being a priority, Rush Physical Therapy is here for you. Rush Physical Therapy is your trusted physical therapy partner for recovering from aches and pains, gaining strength, and preventing injury. There's no better time to make Rush Physical Therapy's movement experts part of your healthcare team. To learn more about the benefits of physical therapy and get on the road to recovery and wellness, schedule an appointment today at rushpt.com. Experience the power of physical therapy today.
Watch this. Watch us move. Watch us fly. Watch us break. Watch us burn. Watch us rise. Watch us rule. Just you watch.
Not your bank's top priority? Here at Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. No hidden fees or runarounds, but a true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. Whether you're opening your first account, found your dream home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have the financial solutions to get you there. Stop.